you boil an egg, the longer you keep it in the boiling hot water, the harder it becomes. The more sufferings that the Jewish people went through and that we always go through, the closer we become, the harder we become, in the sense we become stronger from the challenges around us. The sufferings that we go through make us stronger. It brings everyone together because we use each other as support. We come together as Am Echad, as one nation. And I'd like to share one other idea. Another idea, which I find to be beautiful, and I think you would like it. What was the purpose of leaving Egypt? We left Mitzrayim, we left Egypt. Why? Because God had a lot of time on his hands. He felt bad. He's like, ooh, yeah, it doesn't look like you guys are being treated so well. Yeah, I'll just take you out. I'll do you a favor. The whole purpose why God took us out was in order for him to bring us closer to him. How so? When he took us out of Egypt, he took us to Mount Sinai. He took us to Har Sinai in order for what? To receive the Torah. The whole purpose of leaving Egypt was only in order to get to the stage where we're going to be married to God, so to speak, in the sense that we're going to have a beautiful, intimate relationship between us and God, right? It's all one process. It was one long process. Leave Egypt, okay, not just to be free. How do you be free? Because now we're connected to God. We're connected to Hashem. When you're connected to Hashem, to something with meaning and purpose, to something a much higher level, a much higher degree, that's real freedom. Everything else, you're bound in different limitations. But when you're serving something of a higher nature, of a higher purpose, that's the real freedom. The ability to serve God in any and every capacity is true freedom. Hence, tonight is the night of freedom. It's Pesach, when we were freed, both physically and spiritually. And you find that an egg represents that. How so? Something very unique about the egg, as opposed to anything else, is that the egg has two births. It's a double birthing process. What does that mean? When a chicken lays an egg, or I don't know how to say it in German, but in English, a platypus. It's a certain type of mammal. It's the only type of mammal that is able to lay an egg. It's an exception to the rule, but it's still considered a mammal and it lays an egg. So the uniqueness, something special about the egg is that when the egg is laid, it's not the end result, right? You lay the egg in order that the egg should hatch, right, and bring life. When we have the egg on our Seder plate, it represents the two births that the Jewish people went through. When we left Egypt, we were physically created. We had a physical birth. Just like when a mother is giving birth, she's going through the child pains. It hurts. It's painful to give birth. It's very painful. It's not easy. Believe me, I know. I'm still suffering. When my wife gave birth, I'm traumatized. My wife's like, you're traumatized. You didn't have to give birth. I know, because, you know what I say? I'm like, physical birth, you get healed, but psychological, and you're scarred for life. Don't tell her I said that. I'm joking. But when we left Egypt, that was our physical birth. We were born as a physical nation. In reality, we were a nation. And when we got to Har Sinai, when we got to Mount Sinai to receive God's Torah, that's when we had our spiritual birth. We were born in a spiritual sense. The egg was hatched. We were able to see the world in a very different light. We were able to see things in a much clearer fashion. Our priorities were very different because we had such clarity. It's like, wow, a whole revelation. We have the egg to remind us. The Jewish people went through two births. We were formed in Egypt, and we came out of Egypt. And that was our first birth, our physical birth, when the egg was laid. And then, when we got to Har Sinai, when we received God's Torah, and we spoke to God, we heard him, we saw him, that was our spiritual birth. So the egg is there to remind us of many things, to teach many lessons, but also to remember where we come from and the two different aspects of our birth, of becoming new. The world itself, our lives have to have both. We have to turn the physical into something spiritual. And anything that we do has to have it within it, some spirituality, a purpose, a meaning. When I do this, is this going to help me Is this going to make me a better person? Is this going to help my relationship between me and my friends, between me and myself, between me and God? These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. When we see these things on Pesach, on the Seder night, we ask ourselves these type of questions. And that is, those are some thoughts for the egg. To share another thought, another idea. And there's so much to say on the Haggadah, on Pesach, on Passover. There's so much going on. There's so much to learn, so much to discuss. We don't have time to do everything, but one more final thought. And that's on the 4 cups of wine. It's customarily done. There's a mitzvah, special idea to have 4 cups of wine during the Passover Seder, during the meal. Question is, there's so many questions. Question is, why? Well, why specifically wine? Why not 4 kartoshkas or kartoffel? Why not 4 potatoes? Why not 4 cups of water? In fact, why not water? Water is compared to Torah, right? Just like the world cannot live without water, so too the world can't live without Torah, without learning God's values. So why specifically 4 cups of wine? So there's many answers given again. One answer given is that wine is something of importance. It's something beautiful. It's what the royalty use. It's what a wealthy person drinks. And today, now, we're free. We're out of Egypt. We're not slaves. We have some freedom, right? So the wine is to represent that we are free to drink. We can do anything. We have the freedom to serve God. We have the freedom to be anything we allow ourselves to be. That's what wine. Another answer given is that the Torah, the Bible, uses 4 different forms, 4 different words to describe how God took us out and saved us from Egypt. So each one of the 4 cups represents that stage. God took us out of Egypt, He saved us, He redeemed us, and He brought us closer to Him. These are the 4 different forms of the language that was used to describe God's taking us out and saving us. And it's a process. He took us out of Egypt, right? He redeemed us. He saved us from the suffering. He made us a holy nation, and He brought us closer to Him. It's all one big process as well. It's a stage. If I have 1 potato, okay, potato, kartoshka, das ist sehr lecker, Geschmack. If I have 2 potatoes, okay, so I'm a bit full. I have 3 potatoes, okay, enough, bitte, I'm good. 4 potatoes, okay, it's too much. I'm full. It doesn't taste as good. It was good the first time, second time, yeah. But wine, 1st cup of wine, okay. 2nd cup, gets even better. 3rd, woo. 4th, you don't even remember how many cups you had, right? But wine naturally has its inherent idea is that wine gets better as you drink. It's not like you get sick of it, right? The more you drink, the more you're able to drink. Wine is something special in the sense that it's a process. It grows. That's another idea. And the last idea, and we're going to end with this, and it's a beautiful lesson, is that what's wine? How do you make wine? Grapes, right? You take grapes. How much does a bottle of wine cost? 10 euro up to 1,000 euro, right? You have expensive wine, you have very cheap, 5 euro, 7 euro, but it goes up to be 1,000 euro or something, maybe more, right? A lot of money. But it comes from grapes. How much does a basket of grapes cost? How much are some grapes? Grapes are very cheap. It's nothing. In America, it's like $2. You get a basket of grapes. $3. It's very cheap. Tons of grapes. Tons of grapes. Lots. So what do? You take the grape. You take that little tiny grape, and you squeeze it. You apply pressure to the grape. You crush the grape. Why? In order to extract the juice, to bring out what's inside the grape. Right? Now, when you have the juice, you have to keep it in a special place. You have to protect the juice. You have to keep it and allow it to ferment, to grow, and to age in a good environment. And the longer you let it age, the better it becomes, the more refined, and the more expensive that the wine will be, right? We all go through these crushing processes, the pressures of life. We go through challenges in life. We're like, how could God do this to me? Why did this happen? How did I fail my test? How come she said no when I asked her out? Oh, disaster. Disastrous, right? We go through challenges and hardships, and some are real. I have no money. I got into a car accident. Why me? Why me? Why now? Why me? The purpose is not to crush us. God doesn't want to get you like, I got you. You're going to crush. I'm going to destroy you. No, God forbid. The idea is He wants to bring out the juice. He wants to show you your potential, to challenge you, to see how strong you can become, for you to learn the lessons in school, right? If you want to be a lawyer, okay, so you got to take the exam. You got to take the test to get into law school. You want to be a doctor, you have to take a test to get into medical school. And so you want to be a doctor. You have to pass your exams. Okay, but I can't sit for hours. I can't sit for 2 months and study. I can't. Oh, you're right. During the year you can't. But when it comes to the test time, when it comes to exams, oh, that's all you're doing. I remember when I was in university, for a month straight, I just sat for like 15 hours every day in the library. I locked myself up, and I was just studying. That's it. And after the exam, I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I sat for over a month just sitting all day, every day, just studying and working. I didn't know I could do that. Because without the test, without the challenges, without the pressure, you don't know what you're capable of doing. It's to show you what you can do. And it's incredible. Your potential, the opportunity that you are able to achieve and accomplish is incredible. We drink the wine specifically to show you wine is something important. It's something valuable. It's expensive. Yeah, because you transformed from that grape to wine. Something which is worth nothing to something worth a lot more. You made yourself better. You learned from the hardships around you. You learned from the challenges of life. You learned the lessons, and you applied them. You made yourself better. We drink the wine to remember that opportunity, to remember the potential. And when we put it inside us, we're ingraining. We're not going to forget. We're going to remember our potential. We're going to remember what we're capable of doing. The wine is freedom. And real freedom itself, another idea, is that you're free to maximize, to utilize, to bring out and use all your potential, all your strengths that God has blessed you with, to use them for good and to help you and help others serve God, to serve Hashem. That's the idea behind the 4 cups of wine. And with that, my liebe Freunds, I have to end over here. But I wish you a happy Pesach, happy Passover, one with health and happiness and simcha, only good things for you, your family, your friends, the communities, the cities, in ganz Deutschland. And we will be learning again, I suppose, after Pesach. Yeah, after Pesach. Okay?